Alright, welcome back, guys. Today we're taking a look at the band Cinderella once again. And this is from the Night Songs album, 1987, Somebody Save Me. And this album, Night Songs, reached number 3 on the Billboard 100 top albums, which is pretty amazing. Just shows you the times were a lot different back then as far as what was popular. It was a great time to be alive and be a musician and just be a music lover. So the song reached number 66 on the Hot 100, this one. The album also had other hit tracks like Shake Me and, of course, Nobody's Fool, which is just an awesome tune, which I've covered here on the channel. But today we're taking a look at Somebody Save Me, and this is in standard tuning, and we'll get to that in just a second. Down below you can find the tab for this over at Patreon. There's a link there. You click that, takes you over to Patreon, and there'll be tab and Guitar Pro for this. Also, I've got a free gift for you guys. It's called 5 blistering licks to light up your fretboard. Make sure and check that out. It's got some great stuff in there, completely 100% free. Alright, so let's get to it. This is a very simple riff, although I didn't say it was easy. I don't think it's that difficult necessarily, but it takes a little coordination to get everything to flow together. I'll show you the main riff, and then I'll also include that unison bend thing at the as it comes in. It's really important to the sound of the riff, I think, when that comes in. So although mainly we'll look at the riff here, it's going to be more complete with that little riff at the end. So especially if you have 2 guitar players and you're trying to cover this song. Now let's get to it. Key of A for this, and it's I'll show you the chords first, and then I'll show you how it moves through them. I'm going to play an A power chord at the open string, open A string, and then the 2nd fret D. Then we're going to play an F5. That's the 3rd fret on the D and the 5th fret G. Then we're going to play a D chord. It's basically a dyad. It's not a full chord, but a 2-note chord, which is very common in this style. Is at the 7th fret on the D and G string. And then we're going to play 5th fret D and G, back to 4th fret D and G, and then repeating this at the 7th fret to the 5th fret. Those are all the chords in the riff. Now it gets put together like this. Okay, so a couple things to take away. Notice that I'm always playing the open A string muted in between the chords. So that's very important. Also, I'm just using my index finger for the whole thing. There's different ways you could finger this, but I think it gets a little bit clunky. I'm not sure how the guys from Cinderella finger this, but I think just using one finger makes the most sense here for these chords. This one, obviously, you have to use the first and either your ring finger or your pinky on that. So let's go through it again. So to the F. Notice that A still muted behind it, so you can play the F, but then you and actually on this A power chord, I'm starting out just by playing the 2nd fret on the D and the G, and then playing that open A. To D. This is a C, sliding back to a B. And what I'm doing there is just picking the C chord once at the 5th fret, sliding back to 4, and then the open A, and then I'm going to 7 and sliding back to 5. Whoops. And then the open A, and then 5 to 4 again. So it should be, notice that open A string in between. Okay, now here's that more full tempo here. You might want to experiment with different fingering there. If this is tough for you to get back to there without losing connection with the groove, you might need to experiment with different fingerings here. But I think it can be done pretty easily just with the index finger. The other thing is I'm using all downstrokes. And that is the entire main riff. It's just over and over. That's the chorus riff. That's the intro riff as well. And so it makes up a big part of the song. But it's so fun to play. It's such a cool, just grabs you right away. Nice up-tempo riff. So the unison bend part comes in, and we're playing at the 7th fret G and the 5th fret on the B. And what you do is you bend up the 7th fret a whole step while holding down the 5th fret on the B string. That creates what's called a unison note, which means you're playing the same note. But what happens when you bend up to it, you kind of get a little bit of a rub to where it's getting to the note. It creates some friction there, which is really cool. So what you want to do is kind of just slowly bend up, and then you move this up to the 10th fret, and you do it again, same fingering, but this time you go, so you move it from 10, basically 10 G, 8 B, and then 8 G, 6 B. So here's what we have. Then go to 12 G, 10 B, and 10 G, 8 B, and then go up to 14 G, 12 B, and then back to 12 on the G and 10 B. So that first cycle would sound like this. Does it again and has a little different ending. Now that last little lick, I'm not 100% on what he's playing there, but it's something like that, where when you get to here, when you get to this last bend, instead of coming back to the 12th fret G, 10th fret B, you go right down to the minor pentatonic scale here in the at the 5th fret on the G, little bend there at the 5th fret, and then 7 5 on the D, and then 7 6 5 on the A, 3 5 3 on the A, and then you just kind of end it and you're into the riffs. So in context, that would be. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. Cinderella, Somebody Save Me from Night Songs, 1987. Great riff, lots of fun to play. great riff to have in your arsenal, in your vocabulary, in your repertoire. So hope you enjoyed it. Make sure and grab the tab over at Patreon and 5 blistering licks down in the description box. I'll see you next time. Rock on.